Doc Steve here, and I've been missing in action for months and months and months. And the reason is that viral pandemic that we had. Well, you can still get sick from COVID and you can still get long COVID, but as a pandemic, it's kind of lost its teeth, which means that the misinformation about it has kind of lost its teeth and become, well, to be honest, just kind of boring and same old, and irrelevant. But in dealing with the misinformation about COVID, I've become convinced that there's another pandemic that has a worse potential for even destroying our country than the COVID pandemic, and that's the general pandemic of misinformation. Now, when I was doing the COVID videos, I had a couple people come back to me and ask me what I do for fact checking, because I talk about fact checking a lot in those videos, and I believe that fact checking is the antidote to the misinformation pandemic that we're having right now. So I decided to put together some content to answer three basic questions: the why, the what, and the how of fact checking. So this is about the why of fact checking. Now, there's a lot of different kinds of misinformation. COVID was mostly health misinformation, but there's consumer misinformation, and there's also political misinformation, and it's really the political misinformation that has the potential for destroying our country. So the obvious answer to the question, why fact check, is that there are people out there that want you to do something, in this case, vote, and they don't have very many good reasons to get you to vote for them. So they put out reasons that sound pretty good, but that are false. But I have to answer that question in the context that some of you folks out there are asking right now, and that is, why do I have to fact check? My people are the ones that always tell the truth. It's the other guys that are always lying. I have a couple problems with this, and the first one is that there's no politician on earth, in fact, there's no person on earth who gets it right every time. Now, sometimes it's only off by a little bit, but sometimes what people put out is the exact opposite of what's true. So if you want to base your political decision making on what's true, you gotta fact check. My other problem with throwing out the L word anytime somebody on the other side says something you don't like or disagree with is that most of the time, even when politicians put out something that's false, they're not lying. Here's the definition of lying: knowingly stating falsehood with an intent to deceive. Guess what? Even politicians, when they put out falsehood, it's because maybe they forgot a detail or they misspoke. Most of the time when a politician puts out something that's false, it's because the advisor they hired to advise them on something, or the lobbyist that has their ear has told them something and they believe that person and put it out. I wish we could lower the rhetoric level on the L word, and I'm going to say this specifically to my faith community, Christians. We have a pretty strong injunction not to judge people's internal thoughts and attitudes. And I'll tell you right now, if you're using the L word for somebody without knowing for sure that they know what's true and are putting out falsehood, well, that sounds an awful lot like judging to me. And that's why I don't like using the L word myself. Now, I have no problem using the L word when it's been clearly shown that a person knows what's true and is still putting out falsehood. I have no problem with that at all. I have no problem using the P word for such people. Now, I know pants on fire is 3 words, but if you hyphenate it, it becomes 1 word. Trust me on this, I married an English major. I know what I'm talking about. Yeah? Okay, thanks. So I guess pants on fire is really 3 words, even if you hyphenate it. Whatever. So that was the why of fact checking. Check out my video on the what of fact checking.